Hello friends. We want to take a second to personally thank all of our patrons and supporters. I know it's a very difficult time, so your support means a ton to us. I'm going to go ahead and read off our current patrons. Adam C., Alan B., Brad H., Brian M., Charles K., Kurt, what's up Kurt? Dave B., David A., David H., what's that word?
Francosby 999.
Gary T., Gerard G., Glenn B., Gregory L., Hi F., is that right? Hie. Joel H., John G., Johnny, Jonathan C., JYG, Kelly D., Larry R., Marco L., Megan Z., Mike and Laura. Oh, Marco T. also.
Two Marcos.
Mike S., Mitchell T., Nico G., Patrick, Randy P., Robert K., Russ A., Rachel. Hi, Rachel. Samantha Graham. Oh, sorry, there's your whole name. Hi, Samantha. Skipper C., Stephen W., SV13 Wins, Tattoo Jason, and our buddy Tim. Also, there's also a mystery patron with no name, so thank you for your contribution as well. And my little brother Scott Tillery was a longtime patron and had to stop his patronage because he got furloughed. We still love you, Scott, and we appreciate all of the support you gave us, and we understand during this time it's very difficult. And we also want to thank our super chat donations from Friday's live stream video.
Oh yeah, it was such a sweet surprise. People were just like gifting us.
Yeah, it was amazing.
From Ski, Chico B, John C, Arthur, Dave H, and Kurt. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and your contributions from the super chat, we were able to go ahead and with those contributions and a little bit of our own money, we were able to go ahead and buy the hot water heater we need.
I'm so excited.
Camille's very stoked about that, and it's good because now we can mount it in place, and then we're building out the whole new head. So it'll help a lot to have that already in place and not try to fit it in after the fact.
Yeah,
so,
not having to imagine and be like, oh, it's gonna be.
Yeah, and then all of our regular everyday weekly patrons. Your contributions help us keep the boat in its slip during this crazy time. We both got laid off in March, so it helps a lot, and it helps us buy like epoxy resin for all the projects and everything. We can't thank you enough. And it may not seem like it, but a lot of our patrons are like what we call dollar deckhands. It's just $1 a video, and we only charge our patrons for 1 video a week, even though we're putting up 2 videos, sometimes 3 videos a week when we can. Mainly because I'm a terrible businessman, and secondly because I don't want to take advantage of your generosity. So every Monday, that's our regular scheduled video, and that's what our patrons are contributing to, and everything else is free bonus footage. So, and it may not seem like that's like $4 a month, but for us it makes a big difference, and it really helps us move towards our goal in this crazy time.
Yeah, and it's really been adding up, and I think if actually I know that if we didn't have your help, that we would be treading water, and
it would be very difficult.
We're really able to actually swim forward and make some progress with the things that we're doing. Otherwise, we would be like. Yeah, we wouldn't be able to buy the supplies that we need.
We would just be completely on pause, and it would be a very difficult. So, and we know it's hard for everyone right now. That's why I'm amazed at your generosity and your continued support. And we just want to take this second to thank you so much.
Yeah. For
being patrons, being the Tritea patron crew, and we love you guys, and we hope that you guys are getting stuff out of the videos. I hope you're learning things. I hope you're laughing at us. And having fun with us.
Yeah, and let us know if there's anything that you particularly want to see. We can't really do adventure videos right now.
Yeah, I think everyone's on pause with that,
but
we got more live streams coming up. Camille's going to be doing live Beers on a Boat soon. That'll be fun, and we'll let y'all know about that. But let's go ahead and get to the video because this episode's a little bit long, but it's a pretty interesting one. So just from me and Camille, thank you for your support. Really appreciate it. Like a hot fajita plate.
A little hot.
So I spoke to the boatyard today, and they're unable to align the engine with the new prop shaft. So they were nice and called me and were like, you're not going to be able to afford to have us do what needs to take place. So I'm working all week. So Sunday night I'm going to go to the boat and unbolt the engine and use a come along to get it flying and try to get it squared up where they need it squared up at. Luckily I know how to do that, and they just need me to shim it up a 1/4 inch aft and go from there. But the saga continues, and I hope someday to be sailing again with a much lighter wallet, that's for sure. We are back at the boat. Been gone for 2 weeks. Had to worked the last 14 days straight, make some money so we can afford to get this boat back in the water. It is gusting to 40 knots right now, kind of constant at 20, 25. It's kind of crazy. It's like that all night. We got in late last night and spent the night on the boat, and Camille has to go back to LA to work this week, but she's gonna leave me in steady. We have to unbolt the engine and fly it up, and then I have to try to get the motor mount, like there's like a metal frame you'll see later. I have to get out and try to slot it so that we can kind of position it to be aligned correctly, because there used to be like a rubber coupling, a dampener that went between the transmission and the prop shaft. Well, we've eliminated that, which is better for the engine and everything, but it means that you don't have you have very little leeway as to the alignment of the engine. So yeah, that's what we got to do. Hopefully I can get the majority of that taken care of today. So first thing I'll be doing is hooking up like a block and tackle setup to fly the engine up, so I can try to get that motor mount frame out and go from there. So, and the whole time we're going to be dealing with this gnarly conditions outside. That's the goal. We got to get this boat in the water in the next 2 days. I can't do this anymore. So, gonna bust my ass and get this taken care of. We're getting ready to fly the engine up just enough so I can get the forward motor mounts off. Then I'm gonna drill little slots in them so that the engine can be maneuvered around and positioned and tuned up. And then we're gonna set it back down and go from there. The next step after that will be making shims either out of starboard or out of G10 to go under the aft motor mounts to raise it up just enough to get the flange, the prop shaft flange, and the transmission, whatever that's called, bolted together and sitting flush and happy. So right now Camille's going to go out and use the winch. We're just using a simple block and tackle to the boom, and we have our main halyard coming down right at our point of purchase. We originally used a come along in the same scenario to haul out the old engine, put the new engine in, and if we were going to be pulling the engine more than a couple inches up, I would prefer come along. but this will be fine. We just need to fly it a little bit, tie it off to a cleat, and let it sit there while I do my work. So it should be chill. So let's get to that process. To get too tight. It's working. Keep going. Okay, just a second. Can you crank it just a hair more? Okay. Okay, tie it off. Okay, so we got them off. Now it's time to, you see how this is sliding? I'm going to do the same thing down here so that it's more maneuverable. Time to get it done. Like a hot fajita plate.
A little hot.
Okay, so we're at a critical point of installing our new bronze Sterntube, which I've taped up as a release, because we're going to epoxy a bed here for it to live in. So we put this in, we put in a long shaft so that we could align the engine. And so now, and I had to re-drill out these holes. And now we're going to put thickened epoxy here, put this in, put the bolts in with grease on them, put the long prop shaft in so that this is like at the angle it needs to be, that's trued up with the engine alignment. And then we're going to pump with the syringes, fill these inside these two holes to fill up the cavity around it with thickened epoxy. And then we let it kick overnight, and then tomorrow we pull out the long shaft and they'll cut our new shaft down to what it needs to be, and we'll install a PSS, get it buttoned up, and in theory that should be it. We're on the home stretch. It's been a rough day, so that's where we're at right now. And this is our new cutlass bearing, which is thicker than the original, far thicker, and our beautiful bronze tube. You can't see it because the tape's on it, but this thing is gorgeous. So just waiting for the one of the guys from the yard to come by and show me what he wants as far as, like, we're going to grease up all of this tape so it's easy to remove once the epoxy kicks. We're going to grease up our bolts right here, screw those into place, and get our shaft in. So I'll try to get some of that on film, and I need to get this done, man. It's killing me.
Just get everything wet in the wet system. The purpose is to let it start soaking into the fibers, the raw fibers that are there, and try and get the attachment well into the existing fiberglass. And this just means that we're not going to get a dry connection. We're going to make sure we attach to everything that's existing in the boat. Once we get it wetted like this, if it was wood, I might do it twice. But because it's fiberglass, I think once is plenty.
Because it bonds to itself once, right?
Yeah,
so it's like,
but you still want it to get in there and fill those fibers, because depending on who made the layer glass, it could be dry. It could be a lot of capillary action from the fibers and the open weave and stuff in there. And if you do that, you get it wetted in there, you're just increasing your bond strength by a ton. So the next thing we're going to do is use this dichromated curve.
so the first was just the 406, right?
Just a little bit to thicken it up so it didn't, you see how watery it is? So just enough to thicken it up so it doesn't run all over the place, is all I was doing. Because now I'm going to mix it into almost a mayonnaise putty, like a mayonnaise, you know.
Not quite peanut butter, but
not quite peanut butter, because I want it to flow around a little bit, but I want it to hold its own weight so it doesn't sag a lot. Okay, so that's a lot of what I do when I'm teaching my guys. Is I use those references: mayonnaise, peanut butter, ketchup.
Right.
You know, because it's easy to understand. Everybody knows what that viscosity is. So I'm filling it up with high density first, because essentially we're creating a pad. But I want it to be able to take some tension as well, so I usually fill it up a certain thickness with the high density, because the fumed silica tends to thicken it faster than the high density. You can put more high density in there. And,
it's amazing too how much those fillers increase the volume, because that was like 1 pump, right?
no, that was 3 pumps.
Oh, 3 pumps. Okay.
Yeah, I mixed enough that I don't have to mix it again.
Yeah,
in
it
the
makes
middle of
sense.
this process. Okay.
It's better to throw it out than to run out.
Yeah, as long as I can get it in there before it kicks off. It'll pull. See, I just made a mistake there. Give that some back. Okay. And then the other thing is that if I get it too thick, I just add a little more.
Right.
You know. So.
It's pretty forgiving.
It is very forgiving. So you see here, it's starting to thicken up, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, but it's still pretty creamy, and we have the wet stuff in there that's going to add to the liquidity. So
And I guess too the vertical, right? Since we're putting on a vertical surface, that makes it trickier.
Yeah, well that's why you look at here, it won't hold its own weight.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're going to try this stuff. Give up on that can. And when I mix it, I always tell people it's like you're mixing a cake. You're folding it in. You're not mixing it fast.
You're not stirring it like paint. You're
right. You're trying to
be all over the place. Like a batter. Like a batter.
Exactly. So it's starting to thicken up now. See that? It's a little bit more than mayonnaise, but not really. A little thicker than mayonnaise, but not really that bad. It's not going to sag.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Looks happy.
Yeah. Looks very happy. So, we didn't grease those parts. Actually.
All right, here comes Chef. It's in.
Okay, hold that up. Okay, I'm going to start this thing. Centered. Now you can kind of
The short one goes on the bottom.
Okay. Alright, what I'm doing here is just buttering it up right now, because we're going to rely on these holes to help get it in on the sides, because it's pretty tight. Remember, it's scraping along as we go. So I don't think if we put any on there,
Yeah, it would just push it off.
It would
Yeah.
just push it off and make a big blob at the bottom of your boat.
Right.
So we're going to rely on this method here. And as I turn it, the reason I turn it is like Archimedes' principle, where you kind of think like a screw pump.
Uh-huh.
It helps pump it in. It's amazing how that really does work.
Yeah, you gotta drag it in with it.
As long as you turn it the same direction?
Yeah.
Or no, does it matter?
It's a little tight now. I don't know, man. Let's give this a little twist this way, here. Seems tighter than it was.
Maybe because that tape.
Maybe it's that tight of a fit.
Yeah.
Too tight.
Just moving right along.
Okay, let's get those bolts started.
Alrighty.
It's a hydrostatic bearing. So there should be a thin film of water because, you know, rubber is not, has a high coefficient of friction. It's not a bearing material.
Right.
But the reason why they're using rubber is because the boat flexes. And if you have a hard bearing in there, then it's going to point load instead of being wear across. So this provides compliance.
Yeah. And then the grooves allow water for cooling, right?
The grooves allow water to go through, and then the water, the bearing, there's a certain amount of clearance here, and the water drags out a thin film of water.
Wow, that's crazy.
Well, it's just like your car.
That's
You
amazing.
got two metal pieces in your car, and if you don't have oil, guess what?
Yeah.
There's no thin film of oil,
Right.
and if there's no thin film of oil, then you're
Cheering shit up.
Now, James, you might go inside and look and see what squeeze out we're getting in
Okay,
there.
for sure.
And yell at us so we can hear you. All right. So we can. That's good. It's a little tight. You're gonna have to realign it. Get a little better, but it's in the ballpark. You're within 3, right there. You're probably gonna do fine. Right, Stanley?
Yep. Should be.
Real close. Don't bump it. Don't do anything. Just let everything be.
Alrighty.
Tomorrow morning we'll take it apart. If you want to take it apart, maybe come see me and let's get the right tools so we don't damage it getting it out.
Yeah.
It's a little tight, but it may just come loose even if we take it off the register and get the shaft out. Take it off the register, pull the shaft out, and then it might be easy to get off. But normally what I would do is take these bolts out and take a chain wrench or something on there and give it a little twist, just a little bit.
Just to break it.
Yeah, and then we'll see what we have to do to get it out after
Okay.
that.
And I'll mark the top of the Sharpie until we punch it, just so we know.
And then I can start making the shaft tomorrow. We can get this glued in, and you can do your final alignments and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds perfect.
So there you go.
Thank you much.
You're welcome. You're very welcome. All right, Stanley, let's clean up.
Today was a really hard day. I think we made some good progress today, but I kind of just like lost my patience with everything at this point. I had a meltdown on one of the dudes in the yard. I wasn't wrong, but it's just like, gotta get this boat back on the water. Left the boat here for 2 weeks while I went and worked. Me and Camille both went and worked to pay for all this. While they were fabricating the Sterntube, Thanksgiving holiday happened, all this other stuff. So that was a setback, but it kind of worked out because then I could go make a ton of money to pay for all this like insanely over budget stuff that took place. But today we finally I got the engine aligned. I like unbolted the engine, aligned it this morning, unbolted the engine yesterday, aligned it this morning, and we got the stern tube with the cutlass bearing in place and an extra long shaft so we could see what it was doing outside the boat. And that's kicking off now with the epoxy bedding. And so it's a little tight. It feels tight to move, which worries me. But we'll just see. Also, you're supposed to align your engine in the water because the boat changes shape when it gets in the water. So I know that I'm gonna definitely have to realign the engine again after it's floating, which is fine. It's not a big deal. But tomorrow we install the PSS dripless shaft system and get the stern tube all buttoned down and bedded with Sikaflex and bolted into place. And they're gonna cut my prop shaft tomorrow to the correct length. And if all goes well, this is Wednesday. If all goes well, I can splash Friday afternoon. Everything else is ready. We're just waiting on this thing. So as long as the yard keeps up with their end of things, then I'll splash on Friday. And then I'll sit in the water, watch everything we did, look for water coming in. And then as long as nothing's leaking, then we'll spend the night tied up here somewhere and sail home on Saturday. I don't make departures on Friday. I've been on boats where captains made that call. And I'm generally, I say that. I was going to say I'm not a superstitious person, but when it comes to sailing, I am, because there's no reason to invite trouble. So, there's no way in hell after all of this, that I'm sailing home on a Friday. So, we'll stay here tied up that night and then leave Saturday morning. And I'm ready to get this boat home. I'm ready to get out sailing and see how fast she is with her new bottom and everything. And see how this new prop and everything works out. So, anyway, hard day today. But, hopefully that's like sweat equity for good days in the future. So, now it's time for me and Steady to hit the hay and wake up tomorrow and do it all over again.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this episode, please give us a like, subscribe, and leave us a comment. It helps us a lot.
Thanks again to all of our patrons. Your contributions help us get the boat ready for big things.
Until next time.
I just don't trust this whole workflow, so let's look at it on this screen.
Really high.
This is the file.
Whoa.
Your computer.
No flips.
That's very sharp.
You got the running.
So this is at ISO 1000.
Now again, I'm zoomed in.
Well, that's probably helping.